YouTube, it's Des. This is the Bible section of the channel today. And I want to really talk to y'all about 5 things that kind of stood out to me when I first listened to it. When I first listened to the audio book of the Bible beginning to end, right? Now, there's a ton of things that stuck out. So this is just 5 very high level over a ton of different things. I may do many parts of this series. But here's the first part, right? I got my screen recording on my iPad. I don't know if I'll be able to link the two, just in case. If we not, it'll be just me talking and I'll be looking at the screen a little bit. I'll be trying to come back to here. The first thing that I want to talk about is my boy Enoch and Elijah. We have always been told that everybody dies, right? That's just the normal thing. They say, hey, the only thing that's constant is death and taxes. In the Bible, though, there are 2 instances where somebody does not die. Right? And I'm not talking about Jesus, because Jesus dies and comes back alive. I'm talking about never dying. And in both times, I believe that they're taken up by chariots and fire, I believe. One is Enoch. One is Elijah, right? Enoch is one of the older guys. He's in that 900 years old Noah kind of vibe. He's in that time frame, right? They got a book of Enoch which goes deep. I mean, like blow your mind deep. Oh, I might need to get a thumbnail. Like, blow your mind deep. You know what I'm saying? Where he gets taken up into heaven, I believe, and he starts describing stuff and stories, and he's taking notes, that kind of vibe, right? Elijah, he's got a dog. He's like a prophet who has another dog, Elisha. And one day, him and Elisha is doing their thing. They walking in the desert or wherever they walking. And he gets taken up. Elijah gets taken up. Elisha's like, he's like, oh my goodness. Crazy, right? And so it's just strange how when you actually, like, from reading the Bible, it's like, that's strange. Some people actually didn't die. At some point, good thing to know. So that was the first thing. It was like, okay, all right. I hope y'all understanding where this little series may go. Again, actually, I'm looking and the screen recording isn't even that good. I just got some Google screens. You know how sometimes they have like the videos flashing of like people, like how they do like a DJ Academics video or the sports highlight videos? Kind of that kind of thing. But I want y'all to see, just from the Google search, you can see in the Bible, Enoch and Elijah, they're taken up into heaven. And some call them possibly the 2 witnesses. I don't really know what that is. Let's see what that means. In the book of Revelation, the 2 witnesses are 2 of God's prophets who are seen by John of Patmos. I think John of Patmos is who is the author of the Revelations. And so they say some believe that they are Enoch and Elijah, as in the Gospel of Nicodemus, since they are the only 2 that did not see death as required by the scriptures. Hey, man, it be like that sometimes. Even my man Moses went down. So that's the first thing, right? Number 2, there was some crazy animals up in there, right? One of them, though, I couldn't tell if it was a dragon, right? The name that they have for it is a Leviathan. It's more like a water type of creature. It's got a lot to it, right? It's got a lot to it. Oh, they took me somewhere I didn't want to go. Job chapter 41 is apparently where it's at, right? So Job is having these, I don't know if they're visions, but he's describing, or somebody's describing, in the book of Job, 2 animals are described. One is the behemoth, one is the Leviathan. Behemoth kind of reminded me of like a woolly mammoth type of vibe. Okay, it gave me that. The Leviathan gave me like a water/dragon. Dragon because it shoots fire out its mouth. Hey, yo, no cap is in the Bible. Fire out the mouth animal. Oh, straight up. Yeah, so that was kind of weird. That was another one that I was like, that is a bit weird. Here's a picture of it. I don't know if y'all can see it. Um, you know what? I'm gonna try to edit it. If y'all can't see the edit, then we'll just have to do another video of this, right? But it's got like scales. It looked like some people say it's like a crocodile. I think I read or something like that. But it's like a dinosaur type of vibe, right? Reptile dinosaur vibe, but made for the water. They say slash shoots fire out the mouth. All right, keep it a buck. That's legit. That's legit. And again, I'm a Bible believer. Like, if it's in there, it's exact. So this type of animal lived at some point. You got to think about all the dragon stories and tales. I don't know how it'd be possible, but hey, I've seen some crazier things. Number 3, zombie army. So there is a part of the story. Listen, the whole Old Testament is like Game of Thrones, right? That's a whole nother piece. It's straight battle, warfare, families, bodies, right? But according to Ezekiel 37:7, he says, I prophesied just as I've been commanded. As I prophesied, there was a sound, an rustling. The bones moved and came together, bone to bone. I kept watching. Sinews formed, then muscles on the bones, then skin stretched over them, but they had no breath in them. And he said to me, prophesy to the breath. Prophesy, son of man. Tell the breath. God the Master says, come from the four winds. Come, breathe. Breathe on these slain bodies. Breathe life. So in other words, he doesn't have an army. This guy doesn't have an army, right? He sees these dead bones or whatever. Like, he calls on an army. Up comes a zombie army. He's calling on it. But they don't have breath yet. He calls on the breath. He gives them breath. So now they're moving. T2 Terminators, right? So I prophesied just as he commanded me. The breath entered them and they came alive. They stood up on their feet, a huge army. A story about an undead zombie army. It just doesn't get much better than that. That's what I'm talking about. People be thinking that the Bible be some kind of just boring book about rules and guidelines. Nah, it is that book. Yo, that joint got some heat in it. Like, when you start getting into the plot line, yo, the plot line is vicious, especially Old Testament plot line. Old Testament plot line, telling you, Game of Thrones. No joke. That was number 3, zombie army. Number 4, continuing on the army body dropping thing, right? There was this group called David's Mighty Men. Now, when I'm reading this I'm listening to it because it's even better on the audiobook, right? When I'm hearing the stories about these men, so a lot of the Old Testament is about battles. David is a battle man. Like, he's fighting a lot, right? He has his gang, like, of elite special fighters. His Navy SEALs. Let me let me tell you about 3 of the mighty men that stood out. 1, Joshua Bean. And the names, they got some weird stuff with them. Chief of the captains. He killed 800 men at once with his spear. 800 men. Big Jug. Eleazar. He fought alone with David until his hand clung to his sword. I don't know what that means. Did he like catch it with the sword in his hand? Like, uh. Shammah. He defended a plot of barley from an entire camp of Philistines. We're talking about one person. Wait, there's some other people though. There's some other people. Abishai, he commander and the most honored of the 30. Yeah, it was like 300, but it was 30. It was 30 men. It was not 300, it was 30 men, right? This guy, Abishai, he killed 300 men and the son of a giant. Benaiah killed 2 Moabite heroes, an Egyptian giant, and a lion. It was somebody that killed somebody with like a donkey bone. Just dropping bodies. Just dropping bodies, man. These people were playing no games. Mind you, David was a giant slayer himself, but he wasn't the only one. It was quite a few of these guys that was coming out and feet on the competition, literally. In the name of God, out here putting hands and feet on people. And that's what I also like about the Bible. They don't just tell you the story once, they tell you the story twice. So it's in 2 Samuel 23, 8 through 39, and they say it's also in 1 Chronicles 11, 10 through 47. The Bible be doing that sometimes. Like when it's a good story, it'll run it back. It will run it back, so you definitely got it. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about in my top 5 things, in my first set of 5 things that really came off like, what? That's interesting. In the plague, or when Moses is delivering the plagues, right? One thing that I found very interesting was that Pharaoh had magicians that were able to do some of the plagues as well. You heard that, right? Magic. Pharaoh tapped into that magic, okay? There's levels, though. There's levels. I'm not saying that magic's not real. According to the Bible, it is real. According to the Bible, there are other gods. That's maybe another topic. But they ain't him. They ain't him. Capital H. So in this particular instance, again, God is flexing. He's flexing to let the people know, like, I got juice. I got power. I don't just got power up here. I got power down there too. I make things happen. But you find Pharaoh's able to do some things. One, they were able to turn their staffs into, I don't know if it was Moses or Aaron. Because Moses didn't even do all of the things. Once you get into the nitty-gritty of the details, you're like, I thought it was 7 plagues. It's like 10 or 11 plagues. I thought Moses did all the plagues. Moses did some of the plagues. His homie did some of the plagues. Aaron. You just start getting into the details of things and really seeing exactly what it is rather than hearing it second, third, fourth hand. But anyway, Aaron turns his stick into a snake. Pharaoh's like, yo, I got some dogs too. He calls his Egyptian magicians up, and they turn their staffs into snakes. Kind of crazy, right? Kind of crazy. Mind you, Aaron's snake ate the other snakes up. So it was still some dominance down. God said, hey, just you thought you one-upped me? Nah. Spanked them. But then also he was able to, let's see, I think they said the second plague was a horde of frogs. There was the Pharaoh was also able to duplicate that. And the last one that Pharaoh was able to duplicate was Moses or Aaron turns the water into blood, or turns the water red. I don't know if he turns it into blood, if he turns it red. I can't remember, right? Let me see if it says it. were able to turn, yeah, so the magicians were also able to turn the water into blood. Like, they, you know what I'm saying? That stuff is real. When I was reading that, I'm like, wait. So there was some other people doing some stuff too? And what you will find is that there is some untapped energy somewhere, right? I mean, Jesus had his disciples going out. They was healing people. And there was some things that they couldn't heal that they had to come back to Jesus for. And then he go big dog, level up, heal them. So it was like, I mean, Peter walks on water for a little bit. It's other people are being dragged into greatness right now, right? And so it was just interesting to me that other people had powers, but they just couldn't flex with the level of power, right? That's the difference. And that's what really stood out to that story. It wasn't just that God, there's a couple of things that stood out. But that piece that we're talking about is God ain't the only one with powers, but he's the only one giving out the big dog powers, right? There's levels to this. There's levels to this. You might be able to turn some water into blood. Yeah, that's cool, right? But I see I got to ratchet it up a notch. Ratchet it up a notch. So that's my 5 things. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Is, you know, this is just a warm up into doing more things like this, seeing if I can get the video from my iPad going, bring it into the whole thing. If not, that's okay. Again, this was just a good warm up into a series on supernatural things of the Bible, interesting things of the Bible, from the Bible. And hopefully it will inspire you to just go ahead and take a read. Go do some research. Look it up. Look at the scriptures. I mean, I look at it as a historical document. So it's always interesting when I uncover things like this in what I know to be the truth. So you're telling me that zombie armies exist? You're telling me that fire-breathing animals existed? You're telling me that people were ordained to do just amazing things that included killing people? And that there were people that didn't even die. Amongst there being magic, that's at level 2, but not level 10. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. This is the first part of a mini-part series. I enjoyed it. I may redo the video at another point once, if I get my editing chops up and I feel like there's a way that I could jazz this up, then I'll definitely redo this again. This is the kind of stuff that I live for. Praise be to God. I love him. I hope y'all love him too. This has been Dez. And yeah, this is that Bible talk. This is that big Bible talk. Let's get it.